Y'all there? It's always a struggle. This is by far the most interesting 2 minutes that we've ever had on the stand down. Apparently, we're having some technical issues with the Tulsa office. They were supposed to be running the stream today and had some issues with their audio getting everything set up. So we have taken over and are waiting to see if they're going to be able to join in. All right. Are you guys able to get off mute this time?
Can you hear us now?
We can hear you now.
All righty. There we go. Okay. So, just a little update from our future congressman.
Did you send him the link already?
Yeah, he has a family emergency and can't get on the show today.
Of course.
Yep. So, he would love to come on in a week or two, but he can't today.
I will for sure not be able to join next week.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll be in the middle of San Antonio's fiesta, which is kind of like our Mardi Gras.
Yep. Gotcha. It's all good. We will just rib him a little bit and go from there.
I was out at a skeet shoot earlier with the intern and lost frack balls and massive frack and quite a few other random Twitter people. And that's why I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get back here to the office in time to be on the show.
Yep, that's all good. I was looking forward to just maybe possibly trying to educate this guy a little bit.
Well, where's old QDC and was it the Colonel Drake guy?
I think it's Daniel Plainview guy.
Yeah, that's right. I get those two guys confused.
Yeah, he wanted to. He kind of started it actually. I think this guy that's running for Congress commented or said something about a post from another congressman about oil and gas making all this money and profiteering off of these terrible times and made the most money they've made in the last 7 years and on and on and on. And he kind of was like, yeah, that's good. We need to go after him. And then he kind of made a post about, why don't you learn a little bit about it and form your own opinion? I thought, well, that's pretty good. And then he tentatively agreed to do it. And it sounded like we were going to have an interesting little go at it.
We just had Daniel Plainview drop in.
Oh, okay.
See if we can get his audio figured out.
Yep.
Can you hear us, man? You might need to go into your settings and adjust your audio input and output.
Yeah, it's always an issue, trust me, at least for us.
Is Bird around today, or did he run
Yeah,
off
he's
an
finishing.
emergency Aspen ski adventure?
Yeah. I can give y'all an update on that. I think his father-in-law broke his hip like day one, so
Oh shit!
sounded like it was interesting.
Has he gotten a new vehicle yet? I know he upgraded to the Tahoe
Yep.
a couple months ago, but has he gotten an Escalade yet with
No.
$140
No, I think
oil?
what he's been doing is just when he runs out of gas, he just leaves the car at the gas station and gets a new Tahoe.
I mean, you could call and have them send you a loaner. Something's wrong with the vehicle; it won't run.
Can't figure it out. Come get it.
Yeah.
Bring me another one. Yeah, so he should be in here in just a second, and then we'll kind of see how it goes.
Oh shit! We got Hot Dog Oil joining us from Mid-Lit right now.
Wow, look at that.
Shit.
You been styling your hair for tonight, man?
No, this is my. No, I look ridiculous right now. No, this is just hat hair right now. But I'm gonna be going to Charla's in about 10 minutes, and I'm gonna rejoin with TB and some other guys. Jump back on here.
I think WTX is probably already there.
He's en route. Looks like
he's en route. Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm gonna jump back on in about 5-10 minutes. I'm gonna run out of here.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm back.
They keep talking about wanting to do a live episode from the bar.
Here we go.
At some point, and I can only imagine if we have technical difficulties in our own offices. Trying to live stream from a bar just sounds like it would be a disaster, and I'm totally down to try.
Yep. We're going to probably get a little Blair Witch Project action, just going around looking at everybody on a phone.
Yeah, and see, the problem is the camera that I'm using now, I can run at a higher resolution. I don't know that my phone tethered would be able to have a fast enough connection for any of that shit. WTX, how many lifts are you gonna need to get you home tonight?
Well, it depends if I leave my phone in the lift this time.
Is your wife going with you tonight?
Yeah, I have a chaperone. Yes.
You do have a chaperone. That's good.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think we've proven I can't Midland alone. I think it's what's going on here. So, I'm trying to rent a car in Midland because my work truck needs to go in the shop, and it might be the most challenging thing I've ever done. Is actually rent a car and like line up the time that I show up, and if you're late, they rent it to the next person in line.
So I heard a story one time that if you ever needed a car in Midland, all you had to do was go to the Midland airport Monday through Friday and just try a couple of cars until you found one that was unlocked, and it probably had the keys sitting under the seat or something like that.
They probably had Halliburton on the side.
Yeah,
likely.
And a fuel card with the PIN number sticky with a sticky note stuck to it.
Yep.
Yeah, and it says password is password.
That's not a terrible idea.
Yeah, this is basically what the guy sent.
What does that say? I can't read that. Oh, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, like it happens to all of us, when you have to randomly run off to Colorado to go skiing.
Right.
I mean, that's just like an everyday thing that we're all dealing with,
Yeah, things come up, man. Things come up, and you got to take care of them. I get it.
Struggle is real.
Mm-hmm.
When I told my wife that I was going to go to the skeet shoot today, she was like, "Oh, okay, well, that sounds fun. When do I get to go do that? And I was like, no, I have to go work. I'm going to sit at a table and sell hats the whole time. That's not going to be fun.
Yeah, they don't get that part.
I have to drink beer.
Mm-hmm.
We sold about 10 hats at the shoot today, and we had so many people that could not comprehend paying for something online when I was sitting right there in front of them. And it's like, well, when you don't have cash, I can't take your card because I don't have a card reader, but I can send you the link right now and you can buy it online. No.
Oh, by the way, we
Lives
owe
there.
my life $200.
You owe me.
By the way,
What's up, Bird?
Can I Venmo you?
Is it vest weather up there?
it was this morning. It 100% was this morning. It's been like mid to upper 30s past couple of days. When I actually just got back from Kansas City, dicking with some Bitcoin mines, and it snowed the whole way from like Joplin to Kansas City on me.
Oh shit! Did you go to that Empower conference? I heard that the
No.
oil and gas guys were really, really impressed about
Yeah.
all the hungover dudes in skinny jeans.
Yeah, I missed that one.
I know some guys from San Antonio that went, and that's actually what they said was there was a whole bunch of hungover kids in skinny jeans running around.
Yeah,
Yeah, be smart, quick.
I
Are
can
you doing some mine
believe
setup
that.
today?
Mhm.
There's our Bitcoin miner right there.
Oh, did you get the roustabout in the office today?
He is actually,
Mama asked about.
but I had the wife help me
Did you
with
tell
some
him about
stuff.
the finger chop?
Not yet.
Got it.
We actually do have a safety moment we'd like to tell everybody about.
Safety stand down. This is appropriate actually for the show.
When you're putting belts on a pumping unit, do not put your fingers between the belt and the shiv, because that is called a pinch point, and
We
it
should go get
will.
him. Is he here?
Yeah, he's here.
Yes.
We'll go show you the results of that. You'll get a nice clipped off finger.
Is it bad? Yeah. Oh, let's show him the pic.
No, my God, don't.
Yeah, you need
Oh,
to
we've
see
got a
the-
picture. Here we go. This is rated R for all the viewers, all four of us.
Let's see.
Is it going to be a big black dick?
No,
I
nothing
wish.
sexual.
What did he say? Is it gonna do what?
Is it
Be
a
like a
dick?
big black dick.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Clipped it. There's the bone
Why am I
snippet.
not-
If you can see that, the bone piece on the tip.
Crushed it.
It's hard
Sweet.
to see, but it took the piece of the bone off the tip of his finger.
How many beers did it take to fix that one?
You had to go get surgery.
But he's here.
He's here.
He's
yeah.
here.
I told him to bring his ass to work.
Yeah, we don't have employee comp downtime, no such thing.
No. If you let them have days off, they can claim workers' comp on you. So you got to get them in the next day.
Get him in here.
I got a FaceTime call from one of the water transfer guys we use, one of their like field hands at 8:00, 8:30 on like a Friday night one time, and I was like, "That's not good. I've never once talked to this guy on FaceTime." So I answer, and he's like, "Hey, boss, we got a problem, man." And he shows me, and the skid steer that they were pulling the hose with had fallen through like an old concrete, like low water crossing bridge and had collapsed into it. And I said, well, is everybody okay? And he said, yeah, everybody's fine. And I said, well, then get the fuck back to work. What are you calling me about? Like, deal with this shit on Monday. Like, if everybody's fine, then fucking finish laying those water lines. And he said, okay, man, slave driver.
I like that call. It's like something almost went terribly wrong, and I'm freaking out. You're like,
Yeah.
well,
I was like, there's nothing I can do about it right now. So we'll fix it later.
yeah.
All right, let's see if we got Daniel Plainview joining in now. Daniel, you there? Well,
It's all about the audio settings.
Yeah.
Microphone, it's hard.
I mean, I really could just play that clip. I hate most people.
There you go.
So, who all do we know that went to the Empower conference? By the way, because I saw the pics on Instagram and it looked pretty desolate.
Yeah, we were talking about that this morning, and some of the pictures that they posted on their official accounts, I think they were strategic with their camera angles.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe they were socially distancing. I don't know. But, I mean, Clint Barnett was there for a while, and we talked to him, and he said that there was a few interesting panels, but it seemed like there were a lot of people that didn't really know much of what they were discussing.
Yeah, I saw they got Petra up there, which I thought was interesting. I was like, she knows about Bitcoin.
Power, electric,
She sells electric.
grid
Yeah.
systems.
Oh, she does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So, I mean, that is part of the whole
I
grid
guess.
infrastructure and all that. But,
Okay.
I thought it was pretty interesting that they had pretty much every single person on Twitter that has Bitcoin in their profile on there.
Had him in the conference.
Yeah.
I like how the one I think is funny is Max Gagliardi, because it's like he's like a Bitcoin bro, but he doesn't actually he's like a consultant and all this stuff. But he doesn't actually have a mine or anything.
I think he does have a small mine.
He does.
350 Chevy motor running a generator, so it's got to be like 50 kW.
He does, because when I was on his podcast, he said he has to shut his mining equipment down to do his podcast because they're too loud in the room next door.
Oh, so it's in his house.
Yeah.
So it's not a.
What's a 350 Chevy? What kind of horsepower does it put out on that? Like 100, 75?
Yeah,
It can't be.
Yeah, maybe 150, 100. It can't be much.
I mean, yeah. Between the D rate and they have to run at such a low RPM, right? A normal car engine, automotive engine is rated at like peak RPM, which would be like 4,500 RPMs, 5,500 RPMs, and these things run at like
1,800.
1,800.
Yeah.
So the horsepower's way down at that RPM.
That's right.
Well, you're probably running at a lower RPM, and you probably have less energy on the stroke too. It's like the velocity, I guess, I guess that would RPM's the same.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, so that doesn't matter.
But when you look at like peak horsepower for those type of motors, they're all on the upper ends, like 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs is where they really make power.
Yeah.
The low ends, 100, 150 maybe.
Gotcha.
And then burn natural gas, and you lose a little there.
Hmm.
You're mining Bitcoin, you can say that, but it's probably not very efficient. Or
what's the torque ratio and what's the towing capacity on one of those bad boys?
Oh, no idea.
Not very good. I mean, those natty gas trucks don't run.
One pedicab.
You remember I had one at Chesapeake. I had one of the first 8.
Yeah.
And they were dual fuel, and people didn't know that.
Right.
So the superintendent at the time was all bought in. They were like, run 80% natural gas so we can show these numbers, right? So he filled up like every damn day. And there's one station way the hell out of the way. Filled up every day and didn't realize it started on regular gasoline, warmed up, and then automatically switched to natural gas. So he ran out of gas going down the road. Just down from his house. Cranked it up, took off.
Wasn't he on the bridge?
He was on a bridge. He was somewhere
Wasn't he on the bridge over Cross Lake, I thought, or something?
Might have been. Some inconvenient spot. And he was like, what's going on with it? And they're like, yeah, dude, you got to put like gasoline in it and natural gas. And so.
Longest bridge in the world.
I mean, at that point, is it a hybrid?
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a hybrid fuel vehicle.
Basically.
Yeah, I think, don't they have to, you have to get the coolant temp up or the oil temp up to warm up the gas before you run it through the expander or regulator?
Yep. You do that, get the engine temp up to operating temp, then it switches to natural gas.
Yeah.
It's just the mechanics of it.
The gas is so cold when it's compressed that it's not hot enough to burn in the engine.
Could be.
Interesting.
Could be the issue.
Interesting.
There's some science behind it. Either way, it was a fucking.
Well, I was just thinking because Clark Morgan,
Mm-hmm.
he had a truck, a Chevy, and his wasn't. His ran on gas.
Did it?
Natty, and it didn't have any dual.
Well, when you think about these generators we run, they don't do
See, but his almost was like, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, his was like a diesel. Like, you could, like turn it, like, it was like it had an electric heater or something.
Okay. They could have something like that now.
Yeah, this would have been.
Back
There's
then,
something
yeah.
wrong with the internet.
And not many stations around. Like we'd be clear like down by Zawali or something, and the pumper would go, yeah, I got to run up to the relay station to get fuel.
Yeah. Yeah. The very first station, we all had to take our 8 trucks over there, media deal. It was like in Bossier by the community college where there wasn't a single well, field office, nothing. But it was like in a town. That was the first station. So for me to go there and then go out to freaking Mansfield was a so it was all is publicity bullshit.
Yeah, I think the city buses in Shreveport still run on Natty.
They do. They do.
Tulsa City bus.
Yep. And a return to base works, right? Like you just come back, put a big fuel cell, they fill up at night, slow fill, pack them in there, and then you can drive most of the day on it, come back. I mean, UPS, those kind of things, it would probably work, but
same thing I said about electric vehicles, like for school districts and municipalities, stuff like that. Those alternative fuels and electric vehicles work great.
Yep. You can trickle charge overnight, fire up the bus in the morning, probably go your route.
The San Antonio River has, you can do like barge tours or rent a barge and do like a private dinner, barge cruise, stuff like that. And a couple of years ago, San Antonio had to replace all their barges, so they bought all electric barges, and they had to build a new marina to house them because of the electrical infrastructure for charging them overnight and all that. But hell, man, when we're down there working on the river with old gas powered barges and everything, when those guys come by on those electric barges, fuck, dude, those things can haul ass.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like driving a fucking Tesla on the water.
Yep. Yeah, there's no doubt electric vehicles are way quicker than ice stuff, but don't sound as cool. That's for sure.
Yeah, that high pitched whine.
Yeah, just fucking golf cart taking off. So they're getting ready to stream some of this from the bar. They're having a little. That's where.
Oh no, they're going to Charlo's tonight. What time are y'all going to get there, WTX?
Well, it starts at 6. We just came to the mall, so I'm sure we'll get done here just in time to be late to the bar.
You got all the stickers, right?
Yes, yeah. I had to run back to the house because I almost forgot those. What's that?
Show off the stickers.
That was a lie.
Yeah.
That's it.
It was in a dust that he was just like going up.
He wasn't at the mall.
He went to the movie
Why
theater.
did people say he was at the mall?
People were just spreading rumors where he was out.
So, y'all remember Lil Gully?
Oh
That
yeah,
guy that kept making all the weird rap videos.
that fucking Chuck put on his podcast.
Did he?
Yeah.
Really?
I was laughing the other day, and I was like, "Where the fuck is Lil Gully when oil's over $100 a barrel?"
Yeah,
He needs to make a triumphant return to Twitter.
I think that guy had like real issues,
Real problems.
like real shit.
Who paid the Island Boys to do their little?
That was Colin.
Oh,
Snack clap.
Yeah.
I guess there's another one now. Have you seen that? There's a third one.
Third.
Island Boy.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You see the guy that like was sleeping on their couch that actually killed somebody?
On there.
You see that?
Yeah.
Cops like showed up and like arrested some guy and he was sleeping on their couch and like legit killed somebody. I was like, fucking Island Boys are for real, dude.
Yeah. That roll up on you.
Around.
Row up on you.
Element life. These turned out really nice.
There you go, man. Hey, you should show those stickers to the people at the bar and tell them that they can buy them for $5 a pop.
Whatever. I'm gonna. I'll sell them. Like I'll
I mean-
cut you off. I'll cut you off the corner with just the bar.
There you go.
Well, I mean, it says EFT on there.
That sure does. That's awesome.
Did
Need
you
to
not
get-
ever notice that? I actually edited that photo.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get it in there. Is that the right side?
Oh,
Yeah. Fancy motherfuckers.
they can either put it on a beer mug like JC Fodell had, or a coaster. I can't remember what he had in there. And then there's ceiling tiles. They'll put your shit up on the ceiling tiles too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
where?
like the bar, all the service companies, like big outlet mug has like stallion. And JC Fodell had like shit all in
There's a bar down in Port Aransas, and it has a whole bunch of old hats hanging from the ceiling and stapled to the walls. And you can see some really awesome old school service company swag in there. But I'm not even joking. The townies will chase you down and beat you to death if you steal a hat from there.
there.
As they should.
So I had some fun at the country club a couple of weeks back. I was wearing one of my stripper well hats, and I was standing in line it was pasta night, so I was getting my pasta, and I was standing there, and this friend of mine's wife and their daughter were in line also, and their daughter looked at my hat and said, "Mommy, Daddy has one of those hats." And she said, "Yeah, but Daddy doesn't wear his out in public." I was like, "Oh shit!"
Wow. Sit down, lady. Eat your.
I told her husband that, and he laughed and said, "I guess she doesn't know that I've got 3 of them." So are y'all still part-time drilling?
We're done drilling for the moment.
Yeah, we got a well turned on. That's what Adam rolled his finger into the pumping unit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
New well.
Do well, speeding it up a little bit. Got to
How's it doing?
They're doing all right. They're doing okay. We're figuring it out. Changed the frac design up a little. Kind of don't listen to geologists when it comes to fracking or operations or wellhead hookups or.
But that's a vertical well, right?
Yeah, these are all vertical, shallow vertical wells in an old field. I mean, it's not rocket science, but they're good. You know, one of them's doing like 12 barrels a day. Pretty nice.
$90,000.
Drilling
100
complete.
grand, whatever.
DNC, 100 grand.
So
How much water does it make? Water and gas?
Oh, these are 10% cuts. So
gas, we just no gas. I mean,
there's no gas.
there's no gas.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no gas. But yeah, you know, the best one's a 10% cut down to, 3 or 4%, maybe the worst one. So you're moving a couple hundred,
150, I think.
150 a well
No, 150
total. Okay.
I think we're injecting like 150 barrels a day. That's making like 15. They're averaging 5 barrels a day per well, which at 100 grand actually works pretty well at $110 oil or $100 oil, whatever it is right now.
No doubt.
I think we're at 99, aren't we?
Is that
Did
where
we
we're
go
at?
below 100? That release of the reserve, it's working. It's working.
But at the same time, we're at 560 on gas, aren't we?
Yeah, gas is up.
How are those shorts doing, Bird?
I mean, they're probably not doing so hot. If I hadn't sold them, but
Every time there's a spike in gas prices, there's the RIP BRV shorts that pops up.
that's why everybody on Twitter is so fucking stupid. It's like not just gonna like ride it into the fucking grave, people. Like just get smart people will post
Hey,
on.
Hey, you didn't actually lose money until you sell it, right?
Well, I sold it, but I lost money. But, you know, you lose some money on some trades, you make money on others, and that's how it goes, you know?
The
Well-
whole point of trading, right?
I don't know, guys. I think QDC makes money on every trade.
Yeah, he was supposed to get on too. Send him the link. He was supposed to get on and help discuss. But
Okay?
yeah, he wanted to visit with this Congress guy.
I think we ought to try to get Beto on here because I would love to get him on record saying, "Hell yeah, I'm going to take your strippers."
You guys got some fucked up teeth.
I'm gonna mute you, WTX. We're getting some wind from the highway, I think.
Yeah, it's the air conditioner. I'm fixing to jump off anyways. I got to take care of some stuff, so I'll just sign off and let y'all have it.
All
right.
right.
Good to see you, man. We'll see you in a bit.
Good talking. Bye.
Yeah, Hot Dog said he was going to go to the bar and then jump on.
I got a message from 90s. He said that he is getting off work at 4:10 and he's going to come in hot.
Come in hot with the refinery update of the week.
Yeah.
It is always interesting talking with him though, because he kind of sees the trends in pricing coming weeks before people are really talking about it. And when he was talking about switching to summer blends the other week when he was on here, he was saying, you know, if people think that gas prices are high now, just wait until we're on summer blends and we're not producing as much of the same gas. So, you know, if oil prices stay high, I mean, gas prices are just going to continue to go up.
Go up.
Yeah.
Did you walk by my house this morning, by the way?
Mhm.
Who's that girl you're
Phoebe.
with? Oh, that was Phoebe.
Mhm.
Phoebe Stinson.
Yeah, we were running / walking. We didn't want to run the hill, so we walked.
You were going down the hill.
Right, and then there was another hill, so we just said, screw it, we're not going to run like 0.1 to walk up a hill, so we just walked.
Gotcha.
People that run.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because we
I was
totally
standing
don't
in
get
the
that late.
window.
Oh, really?
I was gonna wave if you looked over at me, but you just
Yeah.
like had your head forward.
Well, we were talking.
That's why I was confused. Is like that looks just like Mackenzie, but I would assume she would like look at my house when she was walking past it.
Well,
She
it's not like I can see in your house.
Yes, you can. A big ass window in the front.
Do you just randomly stand and look outside your window?
Drinks his
like,
coffee and stares
naked?
out the
Like,
window.
that's what I'm more nervous about. I mean,
Naked.
my husband walks around naked. Like,
I've
he walks
been,
by our house. I really don't want to see that.
I've been known to walk around naked in that house.
It happens. If you don't walk around your own house naked, is it your house?
I mean,
It's not your house.
I want all the house moms to see me naked.
That's what I want.
Yeah, no. We
Never-
ran late today.
Never be
so
satisfied
it
with their
was-
marriage again.
That's right. They could have.
Hold on. Hold
So
on.
what are you drinking, Landman Life? Nothing?
Finished a Red Bull, and I've been working on some Miller Lights since about 10 a.m.
Oh,
Since 10
you
a.m.
got that day drinking going.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was sitting there under a tent at a skeet shoot selling and giving away hats, so might as well.
What's the oldest customer you had?
There was actually an attorney who I know one of his partners, and I had never met him before. And so he came up, and his partner was at the Empower conference, which is why he wasn't at the skeet shoot. And so I told this guy, like, hey, you know, I understand Steven's not here because he's in Houston at that conference. And he said, yeah, he's learning about computers or something like that. And then he leaned over and stuck $100 bill in my front pocket
Oh,
very
shit.
casually. Like, this was not the first time he stuck $100 bill in somebody's pocket.
Hmm.
And he said, why don't you go give Steven some hats the next time you go by the office?
There you go.
I said, sure thing, man.
No problem.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have extras.
Wow.
Give me one? Like, do you have like oaks or like what do you
I'll
have?
show you. Hold on, just be patient.
20
Wow.
trees. Bender's got 20 trees going into his house this weekend.
Yeah, I got somebody in my neighborhood built a fucking McMansion basically in our backyard, 4 feet off the fence line. And so now I'm staring at somebody's gigantic piece of shit. And so I bought these trees that grow like 5 foot a year. They're like these little pencil evergreen things.
5 feet a year.
Those?
They grow 5 feet a year, 3 to 5 feet. I'm gonna pump them up. I'm gonna try to get those numbers up. That's weak. I want about 7 foot a
Guess how
year.
much you wear.
You gonna give them a little
What's for
petroleum action?
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's all this.
bury them with a fucking barrel of
Oh.
crude.
Well,
See
they
what
were. I
happens.
got them on sale.
Stimulate those hoes.
That's right.
So I could have
Get
gotten
'em
them
up.
like they would've
Just
been
cover these
$5
people's
but it was,
houses
like,
and
1,200
shit.
Versus if I just
Thought about
squared them
planting
at, like,
some
2 feet,
of that
like,
viney
straight,
stuff
like 3
that
feet's
will
not
grab
worth it.
onto the side of a house and grow up the side of it. Thought
Dude,
about
plant some bamboo and you'll just ruin that fence line
Oh.
forever.
bamboo.
It's
That's
gonna
a
be
good
the
one.
huge middle finger of
Bamboo is like
whatever.
nasty stuff to try to get rid of.
Yeah.
Well, I got, what the fuck grows on my back fence line? It's like a flower. It's like comes out, it's yellow. It's like right now.
It's called a sunflower.
No, it's like a, I mean, I want to say it's a tulip, but it's not a tulip.
Oh,
But it didn't
It
say
could be a tulip.
back that fucking goddamn fence line. Like
Did
it
it?
goes into my neighbor's yard and he complains to me every spring.
shit's
He's like,
coming up and
God damn those fucking things. Can't you get rid of them? And I've yanked them out of the ground 100 times.
What's the most
Don't
destructive
go away.
foundation tree? Probably some oak or something. I want something that'll grow some roots and just start fucking Jumanji in these people's house. Just fucking taking over.
I mean, cedar or mesquite are pretty. I
No,
mean, those
dude.
root systems stay shallow and spread out.
Cottonwood.
A cottonwood.
Cottonwood is like the fucking worst tree ever.
Ooh, no,
Cottonwoods are
we should have gotten like an oak.
So
with,
they
like,
don't-
big roots and it just like
They don't have
massive
windows in their
foundation.
house yet
Oaks
because they're
grow
probably
slow.
on back order. So
You want the cottonwoods.
I've been
because
throwing,
they're
like, shit-filled diapers in the house,
oh, really?
launching them
Okay.
inside the fucking house.
I talked to a buddy of mine who was a contractor for a while, and he said that the worst thing that he ever heard about somebody doing was another friend of his back in the day. The neighbors were building a house and they had their driveways were right next to each other. And so this neighbor parked their dumpster and it was like hanging a couple inches over into this dude's driveway. So he asked him, hey man, can you move the dumpster over?
Right.
And they said, whatever, just deal with it. It'll be gone in a couple of months. So after they had framed the house and they were just starting to sheetrock, this guy went over there in the middle of the night with a whole bunch of smoke detectors and stuck them all throughout the framing of this house, which then over the next couple of days was sheetrocked over. And you know that those batteries last about 12 to 16 months.
Oh, holy shit.
And
That's
you won't even know that they exist until
fucking
they
beef.
start chirping.
I heard about something.
Oh my God, that's genius.
I was thinking like blue cheese back there.
Blue
Yeah, that's what I was thinking,
cheese.
but I think that's worse. Like
Just
the
a
beeping.
constant, like 15 of these
Like
things.
you can at least mask a smell with something.
Yeah, I mean, like those things chirping would drive you fucking insane, and
That's-
you'd have to rip open your walls to find them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best part. Just start tearing everything out.
Oh my
I
God.
might have to do that.
That's funny. Is it framed? It's framed, but
It's
drywall?
framed, but no drywall. They just
There you
got
go.
those, whatever on the outside ready for brick and no windows.
They were there today.
It took the whole lot up. I mean, it's literally
Yeah,
on a
yeah.
cul-de-sac pie-shaped lot, and it's the whole thing, 2 stories, and it's elevated, so it looks like it's 3 from our house, and I don't know. Is
Are
what
they
it is.
gonna stucco that thing?
I asked him like what
I'm
the
sure.
plan
No,
was.
I
but
don't think so.
it's gonna be an Olive Garden,
It
probably.
better not. If it is, I'm
It's gonna look like
lighting
a
my house on
fucking.
fire.
If it's a McMansion, it's gonna be stucco.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm gonna have to agree with the man.
Yeah, well, I
It's
know.
gonna be stucco.
Nope, nobody can afford red brick right now.
Do you know what hurts stucco? A sprinkler system that's aimed a little too high. That's constant.
Getting fucking water up in it.
Yeah, just spray the side of the
Dude,
house
didn't-
like every.
this guy doesn't give a fuck if half his wall rotten. Then you're gonna have to look at a rotten ass fucking stucco wall.
That's true.
You won't get fucked.
Good thing I'll have 40-foot tall trees.
We'll have a little
Yeah.
pine forest in our backyard. It'll
be
look like
like-
Quebec out there.
It'd be like black fucking mold growing all over his shit. He'll just give a fuck.
No, I
You
don't
won't
think
give a
so.
fuck.
The
I think he's
guy-
a doctor. So yeah.
There-
The guy
There's
across
going to be like a strong wind, and you're going to see that black mold just like
Roll.
doors flying into your house.
the
Force of
rebuilder
black
said
mold.
that the guy that's building it is apparently like really good. He doesn't do things cheap. So
So that house will be there forever.
Correct.
No tornado can take it down.
There's no
it's gonna
hope.
slam into my house.
It's like the third pig, the third little pig.
Yeah,
That's
built
his
it out
house.
of brick though.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna break the fuck out of it. You're gonna have a giant brick ass wall looking at you.
Yeah, we thought about having like weekly movie night, just using a projector and throwing it up on the side, speakers, just watching a movie on the side of his house.
Bender lives in a very affluent neighborhood. He gets fucking 10,000 square foot houses thrown up next to his. So
Yeah,
this is all a big humble brag from Bender.
no,
Oh,
actually,
What's
and you
happening?
don't live in the same area?
you live down the street, dude. But they keep all those. Well, you got the
Minus,
one.
you do have the Olive Garden.
You have an
over
Olive Garden on the way to your house.
On the way? Oh, the one on
Yeah,
Yeah. Dude, did you ever hear about
told me that story.
this? Is good, dude. You'll like this. This fucking guy is a doctor. Apparently he's banging every nurse in his practice, and he got busted getting divorced. His high school daughter posts this fucking thing on Facebook, like about her dad, just
Everything.
like just
Blasting
every fucking detail about her dad fucking this woman and this
Oh, God.
woman and this woman. And
Oh,
like,
about the one where her friends were over and he was on the couch just like masturbating or something.
yeah.
It's
Oh
like-
my
Like there was
God.
like some stories about that. She just like laid it out. Like one of my neighbors like sent me all these screen captures. It was like,
Yeah,
so apparently the doctor down the street has been having some fun.
yeah.
It was pretty wild.
And he has a stucco with, what do you call those tiles? Roof?
It's like that.
Like terracotta?
Spanish, whatever. Those
Yeah.
little
fucking ceramic
ceramic
dude.
tile,
Yeah.
Hispanic roof looking things.
Yeah, it finally sold.
Yeah.
I didn't know the
It's a
story
piece of
behind
shit.
that was the house just right up by it, the white one. It's like the original homestead or whatever. I'm sure it's.
Oh.
They owned all of that, and they sold that property, and those people built that ugly ass house.
Oh,
Oh, really?
Can you imagine, like, you sell it
Well, you
and
should have
then
put
The
stipulate.
great downfall of Tulsa.
It is. Yep.
yeah, people,
I
I mean
it's,
that
well,
happened like 60 years ago, but you know
Right.
it's still just falling, right?
It's kind of true. It's kind of the nice thing about living here.
Is there a part of San Antonio that's like Midtown?
I'm sure there is.
Is there like this old neighborhood that's swanky but old?
Yeah, I mean it's like a couple of neighborhoods, but just north of downtown where
Oh.
I'm from, Alamo Heights, Turtle Hills, Almus Park. All of those areas are kind of like on a high point between downtown and like the north side.
See, that was my grandma lived in San Antonio, and we used to go there a lot. We had a lot of fun. We go there. We go to Schlitterbahn, SeaWorld. I've spent so many goddamn summers in Schlitterbahn. That
SeaWorld where they kill all
brown
the-
ass fucking water full of like tampons and band-aids and shit.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just
come
fucking
on.
terrible. That
I
man-
heard all of y'all are gonna come visit the intern at some point.
Yeah, when he gets married.
Oh, I like San Antonio. I come down.
Y'all are coming down for the wedding?
I am.
Yep.
He's getting married?
Yep. He's getting
You
married.
can be my plus one, Chris.
Okay. I'll be your date.
I mean, Bender's got to stay up there and man the mine, right?
I got to go out there and get on the
He's gotta
hamster
hook
wheel
some
and power
fucking-
this bitch up.
We just do a wife swap.
We can do a wife swap. That's
I
what.
don't think Scott could handle Bailey.
Oh, I could. For a night, we could do it.
She'll, never mind.
Hey, so
We have
What
a
was that?
contract geologist in our office, and he told us a story the other day about a swingers club. he's like kind of a ex-Apache cat and doing his own thing. And he's got some real estate stuff he does, storage units, whatever. But he got hooked up with a guy that sold mattresses and furniture to these swinger clubs. And I guess they like block off rooms at a Motel 6 or something. And
Oh
every
my God,
6
that is
months,
so disgusting.
they change out the mattresses
They put
and
the
the
mattress
furniture
And that
for the
that's
new
where I draw the
swingers
line.
because I guess
Like,
obviously they get dirty. So the last
For the
ask
swinger
was
club?
for mattresses that were like
at a Motel
waterproof.
6?
That's where you draw the line.
Like
You
what
don't draw the line
hell?
before that.
Well, I do.
Like,
I was,
I'll take
I
it
was
right
waiting
up to
until
the
somebody-
fucking Motel 6 swingers.
Right.
So,
Not the Motel 6.
Yeah.
what was that
Goddamn.
picture that you posted the other day about moving in all that equipment on that muddy ass road? Was that for the well y'all were turning on?
Yeah. The least we got's like in a swamp, basically. Very low lying area north of Tulsa.
What?
I didn't know y'all even had swamps up there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sperry and
That's why it's the best duck hunting in the country.
kind of coming out of Osage. Osage is real hilly and lots of creeks, and then it just dumps from here down to like Okmulgee, and it's all like river bottoms there, basically. So yeah, it's when it rains hard, it's like a foot of water in there sometimes. Or
You should
something.
go snag a bunch of fucking alligators from Louisiana and
Throw
throw
'em
them in
in there.
there, see if they'll live.
See if they'll survive.
Will they live if it freezes? Is that what kills them?
I don't know what kills them.
That sounds like a project that KP and Kitty would be all about.
Would like that, yeah, for sure.
What?
See if we can get an indigenous population of alligators in northeast Oklahoma. I mean, they're in East Texas. I mean, shit, I've seen them in what's that lake? The real Caddo Lake.
Cattle Lake has them.
Cattle Lake's
Cross
got
Lake.
'em. Cross Lake's got them.
I mean, honestly, I think y'all should start planting bull sharks in Hefner Lake.
How
That would be pretty damn cool.
much-
Well,
Have you ever seen Hefner Lake?
first, you need to start dumping some salt water into Hefner Lake, then dump the bull sharks in there.
Well, it's funny actually. Lake Texoma, it's
Yeah.
actually salty enough that you can have stripers. There's stripers that live in it. The stripers live in like
brackish-
Chesapeake Bay.
brackish
so, like,
stuff.
Yeah, it's salty enough coming off the fucking salt plains out west that they actually keep stripers in there and you get striper fish,
Probably throws
which is
some
pretty fucking cool.
redfish in there.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. It's actually a lot of fun to go
Oh,
striper
stripers
fishing
are fun.
on Cross Lake or on Texoma.
Take some.
Have you ever seen Hefner Lake, by the way, Gates?
No.
I mean, it is like the most depressing goddamn lake you've ever seen in your life. It's like a cement fucking hole in the ground. Like, it really is.
And you
Like,
have to pay to launch your boat, apparently.
yeah, it's like there's not a tree in sight. It's
but
just
isn't
like,
it sailboats only?
yeah, I think it's sailboats. But it is like, I mean, there's not a tree in sight. It's just flat. And then there's just like literally a cement hole in the ground.
It's like a
And
West
that's it.
Texas frack pond or something.
It looks like a giant fucking frack pond,
God,
cement hole. It's
I'd be proud of that.
yeah. Didn't Hefner block you the other day?
Hefner blocked all of EFT like a year ago.
Oh, he didn't block me.
I mean, that was kind of my fault, I guess. Well, some of it was my fault. He asked KP who a whole bunch of accounts were, and it was somebody made that meme. I don't even know who made it. It was about when you're born on third and think you hit a triple.
Yeah.
And Hefner wanted to know who everyone was that had liked that meme,
Oh.
and told KP that he wanted to know who they were so that he could make sure he never helps them in life.
Okay.
And when I heard about that, I didn't realize who all was involved. And then I immediately tweeted about it because I was fucking hammered and I thought it was hilarious. And turns out that directly implicated KP. And Hefner was not happy about it.
That's funny. Oh, interesting.
People need to grow thick skin.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Yeah.
What is Mrs. Buddy Stewart Wade up to these days?
Just
Sitting on the ground.
working on something. Who knows?
Telling us where she draws the line on swinging.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's cool with it as long as it's not a Motel 6. We've
like
established
a
that.
double tree is good.
Like a double
Right.
tree and above, fine.
Really,
Motel
like,
6, if you
yeah.
can drive up, get out of your car,
Cabo,
and walk
I'm
right
great
into
in,
your
like,
room,
Mexico.
you can.
Mexico, I'm all about it.
Oh shit! Look who just joined.
Oh, baby.
Oh, is that the boiler?
This guy, let me just take a stab at what he's doing. He's poolside or in the pool, 5 martinis deep, and his ceiling is still leaking water. Is that what's happening?
Probably.
Oh shit! I forgot about his ceiling leaking
Ceiling.
water. He sent me a picture of that the other day.
I fixed the fucking.
I was just telling Boar a very intimate personal story. Via text
It was quite intimate.
Swing.
message.
Very
How many
personal.
people swing?
Are you still talking about swingers?
I don't know, Scott. When he starts talking about swinging, he gets really fixated on it.
I get a little excited.
I don't know why.
Are there swingers in Norman, Boar?
Oh hell yeah! Our mayor is a swinger.
Really?
What?
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Bria?
Yep.
She's very attractive.
She's all right. Yeah.
Can y'all
The
see that?
hardcore liberal.
You
You have to do it. You know, a hate fuck.
see that, Boar?
I can't see anything. What? Well, I'm not looking at the phone. I'm on my headset.
Okay.
Changing into my bathing suit.
Yep.
You get in
Got
the
it.
pool?
Nailed it.
About to get in the pool.
You going actual like swim trunks, or are you going full banana hammock these days?
I don't feel it, so nothing full about it. I had swim trunks, and I have a thing that most people make fun of me for. My kids get embarrassed. I have a swimming robe.
Oh,
it's
like James Bond and Goldfinger.
Oh.
Precisely.
Oh.
Or
Nice.
like, you get out of the pool in the winter, it's cold. You got to get a big old terry cloth black robe, and it feels good.
His was baby blue, but
Yeah.
we watched that movie a couple weeks ago, and I said, "Man, that fucking robe is awesome." And my wife immediately found it online and said, "Here's the link if you want to buy it." And I was like, "I don't know that I'm gonna buy that for myself."
You could buy it and send it up to me with the Land That Life logo on it.
Put a stripper hat on it back.
Okay, so seriously, do you own that leprechaun outfit, or was that something you rented?
No, I own it. I wear it every year.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's
Got it.
aggressive.
Yeah. Again, another thing that embarrasses the shit out of my kids. I wear it all over town that whole day.
I mean, respect, man, but aggressive.
Yeah. I wore the hat in the bathtub later that night and all that.
That meme that Real Pete made when he turned you into an actual leprechaun was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it was awesome. My wife laughed really hard. Well, a little too hard at that.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Hey guys, I actually had to install every Adobe program in their entire like subscription model to be able to make that image."
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's funny. So is that politician from Missouri going to join? You think, or does he just?
No, we were just talking about at the beginning that he sent a DM saying he had an emergency come up. Maybe
sure.
the next
Brother,
couple
in the
weeks
hospital,
and stuff.
serious.
I mean, we were going to be civil. I had it all somewhat of a framework worked out. Basically, just start with how the commodity price works, how oil and gas is traded. Not a debate, not anything, just factual stuff. He's a math teacher, served in the Army. Was going to thank him for doing both those things. Public school teacher, going to try to get on his level, and say, hey, man, my mother was a public school teacher. My in-laws still teach in public school systems. Like, we're similar people, dude. It's fine. But hey, here's how it works. Here's how commodity prices work. Here's why we can't fix pricing, and then move on to, okay, well, how do we establish that? How do we change this supply demand gap, and how do we get more supply, basically? Okay, yeah, the federal government says here's all these leases, but are they all good rock to drill? And then we experience the same problem everybody has. You got employee issues, personnel problems, you got supply chain issues. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
turning a valve, you know. So I was just going to frame it
You-
real nice and simple and work him up into a point where it's like, hey, man, these are just the facts. We're not trying to.
You
keep it.
actually wrote that down, didn't you?
I spent a lot of time driving from here to Kansas City and back, and that's really all I thought about, to be honest.
I mean, dude, you rolled through that pretty quick. That only took like 3 minutes. So
That's it. Yeah. And then who knows where it would end up, right? I mean, it would end up with profiteering of oil and gas guys and last 7 years. I mean, that's
And
kind of the post he made. And it's
I would imagine that there would be a few references to our good friend Brandon.
right,
Mm.
right. And then you
Because
just,
Well,
if you want to talk about commodity pricing, you kind of got to talk about let's go Brandon.
yeah. And you
Yeah.
just get to the point in the conversation where it's like, yeah, we're making money now. We haven't in 7 years. A lot of us didn't survive it, you know, and it's
we
just,
were fixing prices to the negative, or
Right.
to the non-commercial zone for the past 7 years. For what reason now?
yeah, why were we hurting ourselves when we can fix it? And if we want to talk about profiteering, we want to go there. Just who profited off of COVID, a pandemic?
How about Pfizer? There's no windfall profit tax for Pfizer.
Pfizer, you know, Zoom meetings, whatever. And that's fine.
Moderna.
I never said one negative thing towards any of those.
No,
people.
I mean, I would totally like to have it respectful, and I've had several. You know what's occurred to me that some of these people think when I travel, like to New York or wherever, and there's somebody asks you what business you're in, you tell them you're in the oil business, and their perception is truly that it's a good old boy game that everyone who's in the oil business basically inherited their station in that, and it's a simple business. It's very easy to just drill a well and get it, and your only way to get in the club is to be born into it. Like that's what they think.
Right.
That like I know it's what I've heard this time and time again from people, and like Yankees and people on the West Coast and whomever. They all think that.
Yeah. And you know, I'm not saying I fault anybody's thoughts on it because I don't know shit about tech or pharmaceuticals or whatever. I don't get those games. And again, I don't bash them. And if someone wants to come on here and explain how it all works, that's good. I'd rather form an opinion based on people that are in the industry and instead of just
But the difference is you don't just make an assumption like
Right.
On ignorance. Like that's where the rub is here, right? Is
I
that
don't know.
These
I don't
people
know. I feel
make this
I feel like I make a lot of assumptions.
Right. Well, and you know, being a politician and trying to play to the people that are going to put you in power, that's really what happens, whether you understand what's going on or not. I mean, they're smart enough people, they get it. They understand it's more complicated than they portray it, but there's no way to get their constituents that vote for them to understand it. So they just play whatever card they have to get in office. And
That's
at least this guy was open to try to come on here and talk about it. Now maybe he's realized what it is and backed out, but
Did it ever occur to y'all that maybe he, after saying he would come on here, watched some of the episodes or even like 2 minutes of an episode?
I thought
and
about
realized
yeah,
maybe
I
this
thought
wasn't
about
the most
probably friendly environment.
accommodating forum.
Yeah, no, I could get that.
But at the same time, what y'all are talking about, I think it would be very interesting to have a actual debate, not a debate, but an open conversation about some of this stuff. Although I don't want it to get to the point where somebody comes on and they're literally just going down and giving a campaign speech.
Right.
Because that's not what people are being invited on here to talk about. And so, this isn't Chuck's podcast.
Right.
And
I
we're not trying to give an equal platform to everybody that has a fucking stupid ass idea,
No, this is, purely when it's all of us oil and gas guys, there's, just stories to tell about fingers getting cut off and strip clubs you went to and all that good stuff. But this would have been like, hey, if you're open to being educated, we're all about it, man. I'll tell anybody how it works. I tell my in-laws because they don't know. I tell their friends, and I'm not saying that they're Democrat or not, or who they voted for. It doesn't matter. It's just, here's the facts. Here's how it works. And next time you cast a vote or look at someone as, someone you want to represent you in whatever form of government, maybe just take a second to look at stuff, look at what they're educated in. I don't know. But you have all these ideas that you think you can change things, but I thought maybe this might be an opportunity for the guy to learn something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who was that state rep that you were initially trying to talk to? Did she ever respond? It was a woman, right?
Yeah, no.
California woman.
Was she?
Orange
Okay.
County.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Orange County.
No, she's definitely open minded. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
She's so open minded to everything that she doesn't disagree with. I promise.
All she wants to know is the facts. She wants to conclude the truth. She wants to find the truth. That's what she wants.
But if you say something she doesn't agree with, then that's not actual facts. That's just fake news.
Right.
You're also a racist.
You're racist. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You could be a bigot also.
Right.
I love their members.
But
we went there last Friday.
it would have been an interesting conversation either way. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, if he would have went stupid clown world on us, we just go crazy on him and whatever, it's over with. But
I was excited to see everything.
yeah, and then QDC it apparently, I mean, from what I could read, agreed to come on, send him the link, would like to get his input, because what he basically told me was, yeah, it's, you know, both sides just kind of mindlessly point fingers, and we got to try to figure that out. But it probably won't.
Fuck QDC.
That's fine. We can go with that.
He gets on
We
here.
can
I'm
go with
fucking
that.
out.
Okay,
I'm
that's
walking
fine.
out the goddamn door.
That's fine.
He
Wait,
really is he is such an intolerant leftist. And he's such a liar. I'm sorry I know what you're
Jared,
saying,
you
Scott.
seriously wouldn't sit here and actually argue with him?
He's argued with him.
You would just leave?
Okay, hold on. Let me interject. He has had an argument with him, and it was like this scripted, not scripted, but like sort of, you know, they use different voices. And what happened is that he would always retreat to the same talking points and not actually address the arguments directly. I couldn't believe it. Like, anyone who couldn't see that was just not listening, because BRP would make this amazing point, and then boom, like there was a Democrat talking point on the other side that had nothing to do with the original point.
Well, he basically personally attacks. You know, he goes after his confidence or the fact that he's full of himself or whatever. He would just personally, and that's what they all do. They have nothing to pull from. They're not open-minded, so they just go to personal attacks. You think you're the smartest guy, whatever, and it just always seems to go there. And it's like, can you guys just fucking understand how it works? And let's all agree that this is how it works, and then let's figure out a plan of how to fix it. And the funny thing is like, we're trying to fix it, which means it'll lower oil prices and hurt our bottom dollar. Why the fuck do we want to do that? But at the same time, we understand demand destruction. It can't run up much higher than it is, or then, you know, it hurts us again. So it's like, why don't we try to find a good balance where everybody's on the same page? We're drilling what we need to drill. Stuff's open. I mean, then life's good. Right. Everybody's making money.
Well, I like the windfall profits tax is a great. Let's find a solution. They only want to find a solution that's punitive, and like, I'm okay with the windfall profits tax if oil hits a certain level, but why don't y'all give us a floor too? You start subsidizing us if oil drops below 40. That's right. Perfectly fine. I'll lock in a range. That goes up with inflation.
And they didn't give two fucks about us. All they did, when you look at, you know, again, we're collectively putting them together. You look at AOC's comments and stuff. I mean, they were cheering for the fact that oil went negative, and it's like,
right,
fucking cocksuckers. And I don't know.
Yeah. I know.
It's just, I mean, to me, it's like, you know, when you look at the libs, or let's just say because of EFT, and we all know the personality types, but it's like, you know, the QDCs and frankly, you know, some of the energy credit shit, it's like they have this predisposition to believe, you know, make any fact pattern match what they already believe and their biases that they already have in their brain. And, you know, their goal is just to like keep beating that same fucking drum over and over and over again. And no argument, no facts, no anything will ever change their mind, you know, and it's just obnoxious. And like, you compare that, like, I think like Twain's mustache guy, who the fuck he is, he's a leftist. Like, he was pretty anti-Trump and all that, but like he's a rational human, right? Like, he'll like listen to things that people say and like change his mind, and like he'll have like a reasonable perspective on stuff. But like, that's where like with the QDC thing, it's just like, it's not all just a big fucking joke. Like, it really is almost intolerable. And not even that his perspective is not the same as mine. It's just the fact that like he's so fucking dead set on what he believes, and there's absolutely nothing that deviates him from that, belief system that he's already got. It doesn't fucking matter. Nothing matters. Like nothing that anybody says or does is gonna fucking matter to that guy. And that's just, to me, that personality type. Like, you could convince me that fucking Trump sucks. You can convince me that Biden's fucking the best president of all times if it aligned with the fucking truth.
Right.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
And again, it comes back to, do they really want to know the truth? Do they really want to fix the problem, or do they just want to get elected?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's just getting elected. I mean, it's a fucking gravy train.
I mean, I think that's kind of the crux of the issue is they don't actually care.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's fine too. I would just like to stay
Or maybe
and feel like I did something by saying, look, you aren't.
It would be great if they didn't care about fixing it and they left us alone.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's the exact point of what it actually is, because you could say whatever you want about Trump, but like all the criticisms are incredibly superficial, right? It's like he said stupid stuff, he tweeted stupid stuff, he was an asshole, blah blah blah.
Which
but
we all agree with.
Sure.
Yeah, those things are all true.
Nothing that he ever did impacted your life or like your fucking anything.
Yeah.
Like he just
I just want to know, like, he was so awful that he gave a historical amount of money to HBCUs, and he was the most racist human being on the planet, but was given the Rosa Parks Award, and that's the facts. That they don't give a damn about any of that shit.
But I don't, honestly, I don't even give a damn about it. Fuck Rosa Parks, or
Right.
I mean, honestly, I'm not like, belittling what you said. I'm just saying, like, it's easy to not fucking hate somebody that doesn't have any impact on your life, your anything, your whatever, and it's like the fucking, and that's to me the simplest part of it, where you're like, yeah, but these people meddle in like all of our shit all the fucking time.
Mhm.
Like they meddle in everything, like. They choose the winners, they choose the losers, and obviously we're all on the fucking losing side until like a month ago when oil price ran up, and now they're trying to like court our change our behavior, but still hate us and still figure out a way to like negatively impact the economics of us when oil price is up, but get us to drill more wells, and it's like all this ridiculous stuff. And it's just like, to me, it's just like so arrogant,
but it's
just
drill more wells without us giving any more permits or relaxing any of our regulations. And all the while they're saying, hey, you guys are on borrowed time because we're phasing you out.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's just
You're on
you're
on borrowed time, and we're gonna beat the shit out of you every chance we get with a SPR, supposedly an SPR.
Exactly.
We're gonna meet every price run up you have with a ceiling, either a windfall profits tax or an SPR, which doesn't do anything. Like we're gonna throw the kitchen sink at you to destabilize your business, but we want you to do to invest an incredible amount of money to also destabilize your business.
And that's what I wanted to try to somewhat educate this guy on, is what he doesn't understand is not only do we experience the employee issues and the supply chain issues, but we have other headwinds of policy that won't even make capital run away from our industry because of the policies.
Yeah.
And so now we have all three of these things working against us. And then you're pointing the finger at us that we need to do more and produce more and whatever. And it's like, I mean, how could you not just sit down and listen to that and just think, okay, that makes sense. That's factual.
It's plain factually idiotic, because it's like they won't let you build a natural gas pipeline to the Northeast, so they keep hauling fucking heating oil.
Right.
Heating oil.
I could go on for an hour about that. Like, that's the dumbest goddamn thing ever.
It's absolutely ridiculously fucking idiotic.
Asinine.
Absolutely. And then the idea, and frankly, like, if you look at it from like, okay, you take it out broader at a higher level view, and you just say, I mean, the whole idea of running everything off electricity and all that, I mean, we all know this, but it's just like, it's not even within the realm of possibilities. And like, that's the answer to them. And it's like, you can't even you can't scratch the surface of solving the problem by electrifying everything. You can't even get close. And
Did you guys drop? '90s, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's going
Okay,
on,
cool.
man?
Well, I must say I do agree with what he was saying. As someone who's probably a little more progressive than Bohr, I understand how they try to incentivize or protect certain industries, and I kind of laugh when we start arguing about the heating oil being shipped up to the north. That's just big heating oil, guys. That's like big oil. I mean, I think sometimes we forget that some of us are pretty nestled or got our own little bird's nest, and we will protect our, whether it's our company or our returns. It happens, and I think sometimes we laugh about, well, why won't you let me build the pipeline up there? If they so choose that that's an okay thing, I mean that's what it is. I mean, they just don't want the efficiency. Damn it, you can keep getting heating oil or start chopping wood. It's the same thing when it goes to the Long Beach. For someone who deals a lot with labor and stuff, that's one of the things that, like, as a politician, you don't mess with is the Long Beach port, or a lot of these ports that have the longshoremen on them. You just find yourself in a quagmire if you start, rustling the feathers. And sometimes that means not getting the efficiencies in the economy that you'd like to see or you want to see. It doesn't mean that someone else isn't winning. It just means that someone else has more political clout or capital than you do to get your point across. And a lot of times that's the problem we have, is that we're arguing about someone's position, and their position is actually the stronger one because of who they're influencing at the time to make the policy. And that's whether it's a king or a president or a city that's looking at a mayor. Oftentimes that influence will change policy and pick business winners. So that's all I got about that.
I mean, with the whole like importing gas and heating oil and all of that shit, like the absurdity of not allowing pipelines for, where is that? I think in Massachusetts somewhere, that they import LNG from, it's either Russia or somewhere in South America, right?
Okay, now we're good. You have to go to Google. Can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they bring it from out of the country into the country. It's an import. Yeah, you're 100% right.
And so, like, I know that the Jones Act and like some other antiquated legislation is partly to blame for that. But again, nobody's interested in fixing the problem. Everybody just wants to keep saying, oil companies are evil and we've got to get rid of them.
He's a manager.
Yep.
Tony Cece.
Scott Leesburg just texted and said it's actually Trinidad. It's either Russia or Trinidad where they buy their LNG from, and I guess it's now Trinidad.
Well, all I can say is,
damn.
I'm down through Houston right now. I'm looking at
to lose connection, right?
Oh, it is. You can hear it. Yeah. Well, we don't have good cell phone connection, but at least we can make pipeline connections here. So as I'm watching all these tanks go up, because Cushing, they're F-bombing Cushing at this point, and they're bringing it here to the Gulf Coast. We're actually using it. We're actually processing it, and we can actually settle and use the material either to put on a boat to ship it somewhere else or actually process it. Business goes where they're wanted, and I think from the north they are migrating to where a lot of people want to come, where there's better weather.
When they release the reserve, are they selling barrels into the market, or are they taking it down to Houston to refine it? Like, what are they doing with the release, or do we know?
There's
a supply issue, so they just release the barrels and then it goes where it goes, and then that's that much more oil on the market.
So there are a lot of people that bid on it, and they can do two things: take that oil and sell it back or export it or do whatever they want. It's their oil. But what they're hoping is that it causes that price depression that they're looking for, right? They want to see that it actually moves the needle a little bit. But it's going to move the needle on the lighter materials and nothing else. But I'm already at max capacity, guys. Max utilization. We're breaking shit right now.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to get any parts to fix any of your shit either.
And I mean, you've got stuff that needs to be fixed, and it's 72 months to get it fixed, whether it's to build a vessel or get something, replaced. And it's real. I mean, we're in a structural problem right now, and people are not stopping. I mean,
well, you know
they're
what
just not.
will be the best educator, not this show, and start talking to one guy from Missouri. What's going to happen is, and I hate to say it, but DRW is a little bit right when I heard him talk the other day at a Tulsa event, and maybe, a little extreme saying people will die, but people are going to fucking really hurt very soon. And they're going to learn real quick that oil and gas provided what they had and the lifestyle they had. And that's really the learning. They're just going to learn the hard way that it really sucks not to have, heated houses and cars that can go up and down the road. I mean, I think that's really where they'll learn.
Yeah. I mean, I posed this question the other night when we were with Scott and another guy, but I really wonder, is the normal that we've created with cheap energy, is it a better world than a world with expensive energy? And I really wonder that. I mean, because like all the things that happen and all the weird consequences that that you get, it's like it's cheaper to ship a fucking strawberry from China than it is from a farm down the road, right? Like it's you take your vacations to places in different hemispheres instead of driving like we did when we were kids, and really all of it's enabled by cheap energy, and you don't really realize it. But I think like a lot of the sense of community and a lot of the like localized cultures and all of that actually are lost because of cheap energy. And I wonder if that's like an abnormal state of being where you can fly to fucking Europe for $500, right? Like,
yeah, you can say it's a good life, good time to be alive. It's just, is that sustainable? Can you sustain this environment, this type of lifestyle? One, bashing energy, and two, just long term in general. There's just no way you can do it long term. Mm-hmm. So you have to have some kind of correction of lifestyle. And I like the sense of community. I like, local farm towns, buying stuff local. You just can't find it anywhere now.
Right.
But
that's because it's like some, fucking place, some province in China makes all the goddamn,
and you just Amazon anything, and it comes to your door.
They ship it. It gets on a boat in China. It ships across.
I mean, look at DoorDash.
Put it on a plane. Like
you get DoorDash to the office, and Chipotle's right down the street, and you're paying for them to just do what you should do. And then, I mean, it's just on and on with all the conveniences that it provides.
For me personally, like I think about like when COVID first hit, and like my wife shut her office down, so she was home. The kids were fucking out of school, so she's at home with the kids. She's like, got our garden going, our flowers. She's like out working in the yard. The kids are playing with her. They're home, and like I'd come home from work and like, wow, this is what it was like to be alive in the 50s.
Right.
Right. It was kind of fucking nice. Yeah. Right. You were like, this is kind of cool.
This is
dinner was like,
okay.
The doors were open. The kids were running around. Yeah. They're all playing. Like, I mean, it was like, this really is like a step back in time.
And just to clarify, the missus was upset about that comment. She doesn't want to wear an apron and cook for me every night. That's what she's saying. But
I'd switch roles.
So my experience with that, yeah, it was cool for a little bit, but I was still having to go down out into the field, and I was having to meet with all of our contractors, and everybody was not really sure what was going on. Some people were still walking up and shaking hands, and other people were, hey, stay back. And, we did that weird dance for a little while. We still had rigs running. We had frac crews running. We were working on pipeline stuff. All of that was still going on. So the problem that I had with everything was when I needed to call Houston and ask them for information, clarification, support, whatever it was, nobody in our Houston office was able to go into their office. So everybody had, this weird, okay, well, now I have to give people my cell phone number because the call forwarding system in the office never works correctly. And we had this situation where all of a sudden, because there's corporate infrastructure and IT involved, it created a huge bottleneck for us to get anything done.
Yeah. And COVID was a situation where it caused issues, but you're more referring to how it created more of a sense of local community or home again type of thing.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, maybe the best thing for everybody isn't that, like, as soon as spring break hits, everybody gets on a fucking plane and flies
And goes skiing or does
wherever the
whatever.
fuck
Yeah.
it is. I'm like, I'm just
Hey, dude, don't hate on KP because he's in Florida right now.
but you know what I mean. Like, there's a feeling of like unsustainability about like what we think is normal at this point. Like, you get on fucking Amazon. Oh, like I've had like 3, body hair fucking trimmers. I've gone through like 3 of them in
You
the
just
last
order
goddamn
another
year.
Wait, are you sponsored by Manscaped?
Fucking trash. You get another one.
You get another one. It's fine. And that's not
Like,
normal.
That's not right. That's not how we should be like living our lives, right? Like, it's not.
But you know what we did though, man, is that we had a Saminsky moment. The stability of what we had of cheap oil prices allowed us for the instability to creep into our society, our economics, our way of living. And that's what happened. We all of a sudden woke up to the fact that it wasn't always going to be cheap, or we had a reckoning in whether it be refiners or drillers that this isn't sustainable. I'm shutting things down. And finally you had that crunch where things got to the right price again.
Yeah, and that's going back to the supply demand. How do we solve it? It's really not let's go keep drilling up every last uneconomical shale well we can, but let's reset our lifestyle where it's not ordering everything on Amazon, not fucking go waitering everything. Like, that's really the answer, is slow the demand side, not change EVs, change the EVs, change the solar so we can maintain it. We need to step back a little bit, slow down consumption on all this wasted bullshit for no reason.
Yeah,
that would solve it.
Well, totally. Like, I think that's right. But I just like, if you look around, it's like everywhere. It's like cheap energy has impacted everything. It's like when I was a kid, we'd go to Colorado and it was like you'd pile in with your whole fucking family into like one room goddamn place, and like, and you think about it because it was expensive, and like, well, it was expensive because getting there was expensive, because heating a place in the fucking mountains should be goddamn expensive, right? Like, like it shouldn't be cheap to live in the frigid fucking cold. That shouldn't be just like the difference between living in the bitter, frigid, cold, below freezing atmosphere should not be similar cost structure to like living on the ocean, right? Like, that makes no sense. And
Right.
so like, and that's how it was, 20 years ago.
Right.
Like, it was like more impactful, but now it's not. It's easy because when natural gas was $1.50 an MCF, heat every goddamn son of a bitch house.
Yeah.
Build a new house, build 500 new houses in every ski town.
Have 30
heat 'em all
Broms
up,
that
keep 'em all at
freeze
72
the same
degrees
ice
all the
cream on
time.
every
Like,
street corner.
I know.
It's just, you just can't. You can't sustain that or try to find a replacement.
Yeah, it's just-
and I
it's
think
not-
that's the
it's
argument
not
everybody
right.
makes,
Like,
is how do we
shouldn't be.
replace it, or how do we produce more energy to
And
maintain
I just
it?
think the answer is like everybody's trying to say, how do we replace it? How do we like continue on the path that we're on? And I think the real answer is like we have to go back to like a more minimalistic lifestyle. We have to like change the way that you live. Oh, I agree.
And most people, that's
You
not
put
an
the chickens in
acceptable
the fucking
answer.
backyard, and
That's
I did have chicken.
gross.
that's nothing anybody wants
Well,
to hear, but that's
90s has two things in life he lives by. You will spend every dollar you have on your lifestyle, right? or two, you will spend every dollar you have to stay alive. Your medical, right? Your health. Those are the only two things people will spend their money on until the death, until they die. And it goes back to that lifestyle. Like you said, they're not going to stop. And we see that at the refinery. We're seeing that in the flows. We've never seen outflows like this, and it's because people aren't stopping. And if anything, it's going up. I mean, it's even going.
Right.
I'm gonna have to just send 90s a new phone.
Yep.
Something that's not on Boost Mobile.
Is it really that bad? I'm so sorry. I'm embarrassed.
But
I'm an
no, that
embarrassed
fault, man.
individual.
and there is no policy, there is no education, there's nothing that will make people stop living the way they are. And you're right, it's probably exponentially getting there quicker, which is fine. I mean, I don't want to be 60 and this happens. I'd rather it happen now, but it's got to get there. That's the only way it's going to happen. It's got to have stupid reset, and people are going to have to, like DRW said, people will have to die to really understand the importance of oil and gas, which is, it's crazy. And that's probably what it is.
And all of us wish that wasn't the case.
Right.
So we talked about this last week on the Standdown that, none of us are sitting here celebrating the fact that there are a lot of people who are struggling to make ends meet with higher prices at the gas pump.
Right.
We're not like sitting here being assholes and saying, yeah, well, fuck all of y'all. If there is that kind of attitude, it's generally directed towards the people who are running our government.
Yeah.
As opposed to the average American. And like you were saying earlier, I think that if there was a simple solution that oil companies could do that would benefit most Americans, I think most companies would try their best to do that without sacrificing the entire essence of why they have a company, which is to make money.
Right. And that goes back to the acreage position or the lease amount, 7,000, 9,000 leases. I mean, that's just rhetoric of how much, there's so much oil and gas out there that these guys should be exploiting, and they're not. But you can't have a company that doesn't make money just to go supply cheap energy.
Why not? We did it for almost 5 years.
I mean, we have. In light of that, we're going to make money now.
Well,
so we're making money now after we haven't for 7
Well,
years. But
and I'll tell you, that's another interesting point, and I think like you hit on it, but we're talking about it in general. Like I was talking to Chevron exec yesterday. He's actually a really smart guy if you know him, but he's like, man, he's kind of in between jobs and he's trying to whatever, but like he's like very like data centric, like does a lot of analysis stuff. He's like, by my best estimation, like even if I use really optimistic guesses, like rig count, like spacing, all that, he's like, there's 7 years max in West Texas of drilling.
Yep.
He's like, there's 7 fucking years.
I got a whole opinion on that.
You've got Canada. It's heavy. It's useful, but it's heavy, and there's a lot there. The thing I was going to bring up with a guy, if he said, well, how's the government constraining you or shutting leases off? Didn't they find a decent find off the coast of the Carolinas that they shut down?
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean,
NIMBY, dude.
Right. There's stuff out there that might, but these big elephant fields that are easy.
I think there also was discussion of having a giant offshore wind farm in that same area that the oil and gas production would interfere with.
Right.
And so at that point, it's like, well, which one's going to be the cheaper, more efficient fuel?
Yeah.
Right.
Boar, what were you saying?
Oh, just like people talk about inventory, and I've told you this before on phone calls. Is like, if you just want to get on and have a visual of what inventory looks like, there's a difference between drilling locations left and I guess access. Like, you may have a section with one horizontal well in it that you've got HBP'd for, and then you can count, I don't know how many more child wells you could count as inventory and book that into reserves. But what will really make the value of our assets go up is the access to those. How many more sections are left where, there's like one vertical well that's holding the section that's struggling, and eventually that one dies, and then people go and lease that and drill it. Well, used to, that was sort of an endless number, it felt like. But if you go just take an Enverus account and just drilling info Enverus account and look across, I mean, there's been so much drilling just to hold sections, to book those reserves for PUDs, that like access to those actual sections is going to come more and more expensive, driving down your margins and things like that. But, if you want to talk about what's left in this world, and what, unconventional or conventional, how many locations there are, that's a different metric than, the access and any one of our availability to get into one of these sections.
Right.
It's held forever, essentially. I mean, in horizontal wells, they will peter out and go down to uneconomic, and there will be, but everyone's going to hop on those because there will be less and less of those sections available.
It's infinite in terms of our timelines.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter. 5 years is fucking infinite
Okay.
for us. Like,
So if we're saying political, how can the government help? Is there any program they could create that if some viable areas HBP'd by some bullshit well, that they could clear it out and just say like, hey, there's good oil reserves there. There's a good opportunity for guys to go at it. If we can just break some of these HBPs that are obviously not.
You're really getting into the fucking private sector and fucking.
Is that the slippery slope for
I think so.
letting intervention come in and say,
that's
hey,
private contracts between private individuals and the government.
Well, but you could, but on Scott's, like, to his point, you could do that sort of on public lands. I guess you're still taking the lease as a private company, but you use it or lose it. But then all of a sudden the government is deciding what your PUDs are, I guess.
Right.
And that's obviously dangerous.
I mean, that's basically opening the door to nationalization, because then they can choose what you can produce and what you can't produce.
Well, so the only answer is not a mandate; it's an incentive.
An incentive or a law or something.
But then they're reneging on a commitment and a contract and a deal that they've already cut, which is the exact thing Biden was talking about, yesterday, where he's like, "Oh, we're going to charge people for unused acreage and all that stuff." And that deal's already
impossible,
right?
But y'all know as well as I do, they have price controls. Nixon and the rest of them have done crazy things before. Risk is on right now. Risk isn't off. They're
right.
I don't disagree, but like it flies in the fact of like some of the most basic tenets of like democracy and habeas corpus
capitalism.
Wait a second. Wait, when they did price control, was that not against capitalism and free market? Control.
Like, unintended consequences you create.
And that was our parents that did that, guys.
No, I know, but it's like the one thing you absolutely can't have that makes a guaranteed lose-lose situation for everybody involved all the time is uncertainty, right? Like when everybody is convinced that the rules of the game are going to change all the time, that's when people just say they're not going to do anything. Like the easiest thing to do then is just to know nothing. And
that's what's happening right now.
And that's what's happening right now. I agree with you, Landman.
Well, I agree. And that's why, like, if you keep pushing that envelope, you're not going to make things better. You're going to make things worse. And so, I mean,
it's something that the intern keeps talking about, which, again, I'll bring up. I'm so glad he finished Atlas Shrugged. It took him 18 years to finish, but he did. He keeps talking about, we're getting closer and closer to having a situation where there are production quotas and price controls at the same time. So you have to produce this minimum and you're only allowed to profit X amount.
I mean, the whole system will collapse before that ever gets to that point, in my opinion. I mean, you're just going to start getting into like Venezuelan style way of running fucking oil assets.
So then tell me this.
Which we're now giving them the green light to sell us oil again.
It's crazy.
But like the point is, like if you take the capitalism out of the equation, and you take incentives out of the equation, and human behavior and psychology out of the equation, then all of it falls apart. Like there's no
that's when, you know, our 10-day drilling locations that we're doing because we're incentivized, you know, becomes 100 days and we're all just
Right.
like laying around
Nobody
fucking
gives a shit.
eating grapes
Okay,
in the
so
office
then-
all day.
So
Like,
then from an industry standpoint, back to Boar's point, if you had a viable area to drill good wells that's held by one bullshit well, and you're saying we need to let capitalism run, we need to stay with agreements, how, as an oil industry or oil company, how do we go to that producer of that well and say, hey, look, we're going to make you a bunch more money, we're going to get access to more. I mean, how do you go about getting that acreage?
my honest opinion is that none of it fucking matters because the rate
It's
that we're
not
churning
enough.
inventory,
Yep.
the rate that we're churning through inventory, and the
Doesn't
time
fucking
it's going
matter.
to take them to make any of these things happen. And, you know, face it, the Republicans are going to smash it in the fucking November
Right.
elections.
Yep.
Nothing's going to happen till then.
Mhm.
That's going to put a 2-year, possibly 4-year, maybe 6-year at that point halt on any activity that's going to make like extremely
Move the
detrimental
needle,
or anything. It's just going to be gridlock. And so you're not going to do shit for minimum, you know, 2, maximum 6 years. And so by the time that's done, we're all fucking pumpkins. None of it matters.
Right.
The whole system is done. The drilling is gone. Like
Right.
we don't have shit left. The Bakken's dead. The fucking Eagle
Pasta.
Ford's dead. We,
Yeah.
you know, West Texas, you know, believe Chev exact in
Right.
7 years. It's over. There's nothing left. They
Yeah.
can give you anything. They can tell you need to double your oil.
You know
production
what's
if you
not
wanna do
over?
it.
Also have a
You know what's not over? Alpine
Times
High.
gas.
Alpine High is not drilled up, guys. Just in
Okay,
case anybody
so-
wants to know, Alpine High is still
That brings me to a
How
great
do I
point.
invest in this Alpine High?
If
Buy
you
patches.
want
Not want to do that.
if you want to lower oil prices at the sake of increasing production and spending more money, I think John Chrisman needs to be, you know, the head of the energy department
That's
there.
genius.
That is,
because that guy knows how
Solid
to increase
point.
production
He'll
and
drill it
spend
all.
money.
he'll drill it all up.
16 well per unit spacing, just land it,
You,
smash it.
you,
down.
you know what's so hilarious about this, guys, is like my whole portfolio is either miners or oil. So one way, pay me now or pay me later. Either you're going to get the electric car and pay me, or you're going to pay me when you pay the higher oil prices and,
Well, I'll
and
tell you what
refined
you
products.
buying in your fucking
So-
portfolio is goddamn coal.
Coal.
Because I'll tell you what, when it comes down to people
I
choosing
agree.
freezing to death and mining coal and
They'll
burning
burn
it,
coal
they're going to
all
burn
day.
the motherfucking shit out of coal. It's going to be coal, uranium. I mean, that's just what it's going to be. That's the
Yeah.
only thing you're going to be able to get to Europe and let them keep
So-
themselves freezing to death.
I
Do
think,
they
I
make
think
needle coke out of coal? Isn't it coal something that they use for that in solar panels too? Isn't that a part of
And
some
steel.
waste?
That's my compromise because we have a little fun that we run out of this office, and you know our investors don't like coal, but I always tell them it's metallurgical coal, guys.
Right. It's for metal.
It's a
Don't
a
worry.
second derivative of
Yeah.
heating
It's-
coal.
Yeah,
This
this weed is for my
This is for steel.
my,
This is
my,
steel.
They only
Oh,
mine it
it's-
for steel, guys.
Yeah,
This is
don't
different.
just relax.
my ocular nutrition. Yeah, it's good for my ocular nutrition.
Yeah.
so. I think Jen Evans is watching. She sent me a text a little bit ago and said that our government needs to get off the natural gas hate. We need to build infrastructure for that, and we need to actually start building more nuclear. And without doing both of those, I don't know any way that renewables could ever actually power our country
Yeah.
with declining fossil fuel reserves. And the fact that nobody's building new natural gas plants right now in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, for all the fallacies of Aubrey and his whole shebang, I mean, the bridge fuel for electricity is natural gas. It's the cleanest. It's abundant. We're shipping it everywhere. Everybody needs it. It's good. And then nuclear, you just got to have it. You got to have it. It's the only way to go forward.
It's the cleanest base load that you can have.
That's it.
Absolutely. And I mean, if we were a rational species, it would be fucking baseload nuclear, peakers, fucking natural gas. We'd ship it across the globe to get it to all the markets, and we'd be good for 50 years. And by then, we'll probably figure out like fusion or whatever, and we won't care at that
Yeah.
point.
Well, I mean, if you give everybody in the world the power that they need to actually advance themselves, we'll get to Mars and do all of that other cool shit that everybody talks about. You know, we have to do this to survive as a species. but we're not ever going to get there when you have an energy crisis that the solution is spend more money on infrastructure bought from China.
That's probably the next thing we ought to look at is there oil and gas on Mars? We should figure it out. We should go lease the entire planet and then just send a rig up there Armageddon style and let Bruce Willis drill it.
I kind of think that China needs to be spearheading this outfit.
China could make this happen.
They could do it.
China can pull this off.
They would send like some little Chinese people up there as roughnecks, and they'd have Bruce Willis on like a on a 45-day delay on a Zoom.
Yes. Yes. You would have to track down all his fucking people, which again, I think we've talked about this movie before. Why would you get roughnecks and train them as astronauts and not astronauts as roughnecks? Like,
right.
An astronaut can learn astronaut stuff. He can drill a well. Can a guy?
No, they're a bunch of pussies. Don't give astronauts that opportunity. Roughnecks are better.
So when I spent a summer as a roughneck on a rig, and they had to order your shirts, right?
Okay.
They wanted your name, and I put Stamper on mine.
That's fucking awesome. That's awesome.
Harry Stamper.
That's it.
I was really hoping you were going to tell us a story about spending a summer at astronaut camp or something like that.
It wasn't nearly that fucking cool.
Boy Scouts or astronauts.
My funny story about that was like I showed up and it was May, right? It was the summer, and it was in Western Colorado, Grand Junction, where we were drilling for Exxon. And like, you know, you're from Oklahoma, so you assume it's fucking hot in May. So like I showed up and I had a bunch of t-shirts and like, you know, jeans. I knew I needed jeans.
You're nuts.
That motherfucker was snowing. I'm not even kidding. The first week I was there, it was fucking snowing. And they would not give me a goddamn jacket because I was the new guy. Oh, fuck you.
Green hat.
The Okie shows up with no fucking jacket. Sucks to you. Anyways, it's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about climate change? Let me tell you what. Try to be on the Gulf Coast when it's like a 100-year freeze or some bullshit. Ask them for a jacket. We gave you a jacket. It's a light Nomex cloth jacket. Good luck. And by the way, don't wear anything that's not FR approved. We don't got that shit. There's no winter gear on the Gulf Coast.
God, 90's going all good hand on us. But the good hand on the Gulf Coast.
It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
You don't have like the big bulky.
Chris, have you heard about?
I'm offended.
Wanting to add supplement.
I should hope that you would be.
I don't
If
know.
it passes-
They'll probably do it.
I know, but
mean,
if it ends up becoming a thing, how does that affect publicly traded companies?
they'll all just start bringing in the ESG peeps.
Yep.
Nobody can afford it. I mean, Kinder Morgan already said, "Fuck you, I'm not doing it because it costs too much money to actually do true
really?
ESG shit." Yeah.
Well, they'll do it. I guarantee.
Here. I'll show you. I'll show you how they're gonna fix it.
Right there.
Y'all look at the screen. That's how they fix it.
There it is.
Oil prices now at negative values, meaning oil producers have to pay people to take it off their hands and store it because when demand plunges like now, that it is less expensive for them to building more storage and or shutting wells down. You absolutely love to see it.
I mean,
Record low interest rates means it's the right time for a worker-led mass investment in green infrastructure to save our planet. AOC, dude, coming in with her fucking dumb bullshit.
that's how they're gonna fix it.
A bartender's take on energy. There it is.
I love it. That makes me more money. Make people complacent and believe that it's an easy fix. Please.
I mean,
From the refining industry to yours. Keep going with this bullshit.
It makes us more money. There's just an underlying problem that won't fix what actually is coming.
No, I
don't.
If you make you more money, but your money becomes fucking worthless,
Then what's the
then
point?
what did you accomplish?
Yeah.
If you got a bunch of shroot bucks in your pocket,
This is where Empower comes in, and
I
you should
mean,
invest in
just-
Bitcoin because that's energy efficient.
Bitcoin.
Money around.
You guys,
One of my curiosities, guys, is this. The Republicans win, but they still can't fix the problem, so they get thrown out in 2 more years, and Biden wins again. Do you think that's possible?
say that again.
So the Republicans win 2 more years. They go against Biden. Biden wins again because they were unable to fix the problem that they promised they could fix, because me and you both know structurally the problem is going to take more than 2 years to fix.
Okay, but
Well,
I
this is
stand
not
with Ukraine,
possible
and
because
we're going to
Biden's
war with
been in
Russia.
like 2
Yeah.
fucking years.
Biden's already shitting
Yeah.
his pants, dude. There's no
Biden
way he
is-
can even like stand up at a podium.
Yeah.
Give it 4 more years. There's just,
Look,
can't-
they roll him out like FDR in the wheelchair, oxygen mask on and everything. And he says, I told y'all to keep voting for me. And everybody goes, we should have kept him. Put the Democrats back in. And then where are we then? We kick the can again another 3 or 4 years.
I mean,
oh.
Biden's fucking dead in 100% in 2 years. And it's actually funny you bring up FDR because I was listening to a deal last night about FDR. Every night I go to bed, I like listen to shit on my headphones. And
I
last
listen to Consuelo Mac. The wife loves it. It puts her right to sleep.
Well, I put my headphones on because my wife doesn't like it. But last night I was listening to FDR and I kind of had this epiphany. It's like, it took 100 years, but in the end, the fucking New Deal ended up fucking us.
It got us.
It got us in
It
the
got
end.
us.
Like, it's probably really what took us down. If we hadn't had the New Deal, we'd probably be all right at this point.
Yep. That's agreeable.
So.
My grandmother was 105 when she passed away, and if anybody said anything bad about
There we go.
Damn.
Cricket
Level.
doesn't work very good though.
again, and I'm gonna tell you what, she believed that man saved the world, and I mean, he did some interesting social programs, but there are a lot of
least he
people in
cured
that
polio.
moment that believed he changed the trajectory of their life. So.
And see,
I don't know. Like you said, over time, though, these programs grow. They get bloated, and they just get too unwieldy, right? And you got to reset. The question is, are we willing to reset some of these things as prices and issues increase, risk increases?
So I think this is all doom and gloom, and that's typically how it is in our office. But I think the positive to take out of this is there's no more Instagram influencers when they can't just fly around the world for $500. That's
But
positive.
they're not flying any. They're just standing in front of a green screen.
That's right. But the amount of
sticking their ass out.
right,
their
but
fake
now
ass.
they can't save it to Instagram because Instagram can't afford to store all their files
All
of their
their
tits
photos
and
of their ass.
ass. Yeah, they just
Look,
can't afford
buddy,
it.
you're my Instagram influencer. You're my Twitter influencer. I just want you to know that.
I appreciate that. Yep.
Well, okay, so this is like this. The funny thing about it is like this has all happened. It just happened on a more accelerated timeline, and it's called fucking Japan.
Yep.
Right. Like it all fucking happened. Their post-war fucking economic program that they ran with the Bank of Japan and all of that, and the window guidance and basically cramming fucking government debt into the system until they inflated the currency until it became worthless, and then to keep everything from fucking crashing from the inflated currency rate they had, they fucking pumped cash into the system and bought everything, and now they own 50 to 60% of the whole economy, and that's the only thing that keeps it from just imploding. And that's where we're going. And there's a reason why the Japanese yen and the rates that they get and all of it's all fake now, right? Like nothing matters. Like everybody looks at the rate that the Japanese currency gets, and everybody knows that it's fake because the only people that are buying it are the fucking Bank of Japan, right? And so we're going there.
Yep.
We had a little bit more steam in our fucking system to get us further down the line. We actually create, more bottom to top value chain creation. Like we had the tech boom that they didn't have when we put in, the Facebooks and the Googles and all of that. That prolonged it a little bit longer.
We have a few more natural resources than they do too.
But having natural resources, if you aren't willing to extract them, what's the point of having them?
True.
Like,
and that's where we're at. Yep.
We've already done it with coal. Like we have more fucking coal than anybody.
Maybe we're letting everybody use theirs, and then we come in at the higher price.
God, I wish that was the case, but nobody has a fucking brain to think that far ahead.
Maybe they'll get
I have
lucky,
an
is what
idea.
my belief is. Like Winston Churchill used to say, after America makes every other choice, they'll make the right choice. Was that a Winston Churchill quote?
That is a Churchill quote. Yes.
There you go.
After they'll make the right decision after they've tried everything else.
Mhm.
Warren Buffett says don't vote. Bet against America. I think he's right. The reason you don't is because it's that long shot that always wins. So you
No.
can't bet against the long shot.
We're the biggest turd floating in the cesspool, and that's true. Like, but the whole system is under so much stress. Like everything that's happened in Europe, we're 10 years behind. Europe's fucking 10 years behind Japan. Like it's all coming down. Like there's not gonna be like any saving where we're at, and it's just you're gonna end up with a point where the federal governments of all these countries, our country, Europe, everything, they're gonna own it all. Like it's the only way they're going to do it. They're going to be able to. They're going to have to print money to buy assets to keep the system propped up, to keep it from collapsing, and then it's just all a total fucking.
And so the winners of this deal will be the Russias who have the resources, natural resources that don't have the same situation, right? I mean, like who's the
real
ultimate
economies
winner?
of the world? Really, frankly, it's the Chinas, the Indias, the Southeast Asias, right? Like people that produce shit, like,
People that actually make things.
Yeah, and we're going to be like standing on our
It's
hands.
the people
like,
that make things and supply those supplies. So Russia and China, general area, India will win.
Yes, and like the whole thing about it to me is like, you add like there's ways to create money supply in the system, and the number one way that it's created in today's world is debt. And like debt goes into the system, debt contributes to either non-GDP or GDP contributing debt, right? Like, and the dependence of whether it goes to one or the other is where you wind up with the production function of debt, right? Like, so if I put $1 into the system through debt capital by the federal government printing that money, like, are you going to take that dollar and build a factory and hire 100 people?
Right.
Or are you going to buy a, building in Manhattan, from somebody that has no debt, turn it into a giant pile of debt and add debt to the system and add money into
and
the
then
system
fill it up
and,
with tenants that are subsidized by more government.
by the government.
Yeah.
And so, and the problem with that, then the scenario
Not
is
creating
in the exact same thing that happened with Japan, because Japan had to lower their interest rates so low before everybody else lowered their interest rates that nobody wanted to buy Japanese debt. So the only people who were willing to buy it was the Japanese government. Well, you're going to end up in that same scenario in the United States when the petrodollar eventually dies, and that's the underlying thing that nobody's talking about with Putin and all that. Like they all want to kill the petrodollar, and they will kill it. Like they have to kill it. They're going to kill it. It's going to take 10 years or 15 years, but they will. And when that happens, you can't export your debt anymore. And so the value to America of creating debt becomes zero, because if you can't export your debt to foreign countries, then you create a dollar of debt in the United States, and another entity in the United States buys the debt, and so you've created $0. You have added nothing to the system, and that's exactly where Japan is now. And you can't create an economy. You can't do anything anymore. You can't print money and expand the economy. Like you can't do any of that.
Right.
All of it fails. So, that's the path. That's where we're on, and it sucks, but that's just the truth of it. I mean, so. And I will blame FDR. And I'm sorry to 90s grandma.
Yeah.
I apologize right now.
No, I don't think it's the end though. My piece is that there's some path dependency here, and in that they're going to find themselves in a place where either rates get taken away from them, the old take away the printer, or you find something that gets us out of it, which is other countries still need us for defense or something, right? And somehow we still have the manufacturing base to once again win, right? Maybe we just are the last man standing, right?
No, but that's
I just don't know how this ends, and I don't think the end is tomorrow. I think the end is in 50 years. But it's not the end, it's just a new beginning.
Right now, the world's factory is China, and it's Asia, and it's going to keep being that way. It's going to increase. Like that trend is going to increase. And so, if China went out in the market right now and said, okay, US is paying, what's our interest rate at? 2.5%, whatever. Like we'll pay 5. Like every single foreign dollar would run to China.
Yep.
Period. And so that could topple you right there. Like if you're not
forcing people to own dollars because of either A, an attractive interest rate, or B, they're transacting with the dollar currency in, whether it's commodities or, right now, like we own every brand, right? So like there's reasons why people have to transact in dollars, but as that becomes less prevalent, people will eagerly move away from the dollar, and the dollar is the only thing that's propping us up right now. Like, I mean, that's it. Like world demand. So,
And the Chinese their foresight is probably way better than ours too, because I watched a couple of documentaries where, they're getting more maybe unionized, or their workers are staying up, whatever. They're getting away from what their base is cheap labor, and they're moving to Africa, and they're having a lot of African people do the stuff, but they're already controlling it.
Yeah.
They're already finding the next market to control for what they're good at.
Well, what China understands that we've forgotten is that creating value across the whole value chain is how you build an economy.
Yep.
Like you start with fucking dirt and you turn it into a vehicle, and
Right.
That's how you make an economy. Like we just want to own the brand of the vehicle,
right?
Because that's
we just want to be called Chevy, but we don't give a fuck where it's made or who builds
Chevy
it.
sticker on it,
Yeah,
and call it
we don't care if a guy in Ghana builds it. I mean, we would prefer it at this point because he's 30 cents an hour.
Yeah, and business school would tell you the best part of the value chain to be on is the very end. Like you want to have the brand equity. You don't want to have the whole headache of the supply chain. You have all your inventory and you've got cash tied up in it. Like you don't want any of that crap. All you want is the brand equity.
Yeah.
And that's where we've gotten, and we've exported all of our businesses. We've funded it all through the Fed and private equity and all this crap. And globalization, nobody wants globalization except the people that win, which is not us. And, the politicians that have gotten funded by all those people. And we've done it to ourselves, and everybody has been standing by on the side thinking it's great, and smiling and clapping. And at the end of the day, we were shooting ourselves in the head.
Because I still own a Chevy, and I don't know any different, and I still buy on Amazon because it's cheap, and I don't fucking know.
That's right. And it used to be coal that was mined in West Virginia, and it was iron that was mined in Minnesota, and it was together in Michigan.
Bender, are you also using a Traeger and keeping all your beers in a Yeti?
I have beers in a Yeti, and I do not. I actually own a lot of clothes that I shouldn't wear, based on woke culture, which probably those clothes are made wherever. But I own a Yoder, which is made in Yoder, Kansas, with Chinese steel, obviously, but it's still manufactured here in the United States.
Has BRV done a white paper on Yoder yet?
No, he doesn't like pellet grills because they're pussy grills. But hey, I can make a pork butt when I'm sitting here at work, and so I'll take it.
Guys, I have a pellet grill.
He does
natural gas powered, and it's in my kitchen.
I'm just joking about it because of the whole Traeger thing.
Yeah, Traeger's garbage because it was a guy in Oregon, right, in a barn, and he had some people, and he built.
No, wasn't that they had the office in Salt Lake City or something, right?
Oh, no. They were originally in Oregon. The dude built them all out of his barn. He employed 100 people. They put them together, and they fucking sold them. And then he sold out to private equity. Private equity packed all their shit up and moved the corporate headquarters to Salt Lake City. And then they exported all the manufacturing to China. And then they fucking cut out all the Salt Lake City people. And now they've got 5 people in Seattle or whatever.
It's
and
2 guys that have a Martha's Vineyard house, and the rest of the people involved in Traeger live in fucking China. And now the augers don't work. They don't fucking do anything. And if I see Meat Church post one more time about a Traeger, I'm going to just not buy his fucking seasoning. I saw it in your deal, and I was like, you got to get rid of it. He's a Yeti guy. He thinks he's Texan, but he's from Tennessee. And he's he's just a brand fucking whore.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you get home, you take your Meat Church seasoning and you fucking pour it down the drain.
No, I mean,
I've never even heard of Meat Church, but it sounds terrible.
He's from Waxahachie, Texas.
Yeah. Fuck that. Sounds awful.
And he's got a storefront, and it's all this Texas brisket. He made brisket for some of these bullshit Nashville country people that aren't country. I mean, he's just full blown. Drinks out of a Yeti, Traeger.
I'll send y'all at the office a couple of jars of some Billy Twang seasoning.
Okay, send it.
And all it is coarse black pepper, coarse sea salt, and garlic.
There we go.
And that's all you fucking need.
That's it.
That's
Really
it.
fucking
It's
fast.
fucking simple. There's nothing crazy. We don't have any of that paprika bullshit.
Yeah.
Any of that stuff.
I
Just-
cook a whole chicken and I put salt the fuck out of the skin and put pepper on it. It's the best goddamn chicken.
It's
you can
good.
eat. Throw it in the fucking oven.
Do you just cook?
You know the
whole
best
chicken
thing about
raw?
barbecue and bologna? It is so full of salt
You know what's
itself. You don't even
funny?
have to do anything.
Well, before fucking I got fucked by Biden,
Well,
you
Right.
could buy a whole chicken for like $6
Yeah.
and like
Feed your entire goddamn
Well,
family with
Well, his
leftovers.
You
kids
could
don't
feed your-
eat, so
you
Well,
could feed your family and then you could take the fucking shit meat and feed
Right.
it to the dog.
right.
Well, that's
Everybody
what I would
eats.
do.
Everybody eats.
I'd take all the skin and all the fat and all the, grind
Bullshit,
gristle
yeah.
shit that I don't want to. I
And the
made
dog
3
would-
piles. I made white meat, dark meat, shit meat,
Right.
and like bones. And I would take the shit meat and the bones and the juice, I'd fucking put it on my dog food. And
Yep.
that son of a bitch
you give
loves
them
it.
the bones.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I give them the
Full
bones.
disclosure, we have a guy in our office that drove up here from Texas to come look at some stuff we have. He's an EFT guy. He's here listening. You may tell so he's the Perminator, and
We
he's
got the
in here
Perminator
listening. We
here.
got the Perminator in the office on the show. Just
That was
FYI.
random.
I just wanted to disclose it.
Well,
You come
why
on
the
up.
fuck didn't he ever say anything?
Well, he's just listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at this point,
Yeah, take that.
I'm either gonna have to leave you guys sitting here talking and just let the thing run, or I'm gonna have to shut it down because if I don't get home soon, I'm gonna be.
He said every Friday they go.
Well, I'm not gonna be on next week, but I'll never be on again.
Okay. Yeah. We'll take over, and we won't have audio or anything else. So it'll be great.
Wait, he's never doing it again?
No, he's bullshitting.
No, I'm just saying if I don't get home soon, I'll never be able to log on again because I'll be dead.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I understand.
let's end it here and call it good. And
Yeah, we
Yeah.
gotta do this.
I'll
Have
keep
fun,
working
guys,
on-
and y'all have a good one. And we'll maybe work on stuff on Thursday next week to get y'all ready for.
Yeah, I'll work out
She's-
through the week and
she's
just
on
I'll
the
keep
unit.
probing this guy until he
She
finally
works
comes
on
on.
the
If he
unit.
doesn't,
She's
that's
on
fine.
the-
I'll
this is the
just
first time
let
about
let that be my
I told
personal
her we'd be home at 10.
vendetta. Let me try to get him on. And we'll see what happens.
And maybe I'll just go ahead and send y'all some more instructions and another microphone or something like that.
There we go. Sounds good. All right, we'll see you guys.